Grandpa gave me this sport made for Hotler for his 50th birthday. An anti-metric system poster from 1917 United States of America. What has he done to deserve this metric system? Her mother was killed in a protest against the compulsory hijab in Iran. Now she stands at her mother's grave as it unveiled herself, and in her left hand she holds the hair she cut from her head. I found some coins in a house I recently bought in Alexandria, Egypt. In 1992, John Thompson was home alone when he had both his arms ripped off in a farming accident. However, he still managed to get up and dial for help by holding a pencil in his mouth. He survived and both his arms were reattached. 1 million mosquitoes. This is why you shouldn't trust everything you see online. These are the same picture. Mutation in a crocodile. Water ice on Mars, captured by the European Space Agency. Before and after Hurricane Lan. Fort Myers, Florida. Robert Earl Hoots holds the record for the heaviest human in the world able to walk without assistance. He reached a weight of 1,071 pounds and his chest measured 10 feet around. Got 3 generations of the $100 bill from the ATM today. All these albums were released in the span of 44 days in 1991. Disney cast members stayed in costume to help comfort kids riding out Hurricane Ian. British Special Forces have been teaching Ukrainian snipers how to use the Snipux alligator. It can fire a 14.5mm bullet over ranges of more than 4 miles. The target is struck with almost 12 tons of energy. The ballot organized by Hitler in 1938 asking the Austrians for their annexation by Germany. Google Earth labels the elephant's foot as a tourist attraction. In case you didn't know, here's a picture of baby bees. This is what the ball inside of a paint looks like. The Ambassadors, by Hans Holbein, 1533. A anamorphic skull is hidden in the painting. This zoetrope makes penguins look like they're walking. This gas station in Kentucky has 120 gas pumps. Parsis, who came to India from Persia 1,000 years ago with their Zoroastrian faith, placed their deceased in large circular structures known as dakmas or Tower of Silence. These corpses are sun-baked and then consumed by birds of prey. Flying on a plane back in the day. Undine Rising from the Waters, 1880 by Chauncey Bradley Ives, Yale University Art Gallery. Hurricane Charlie from 2004 in comparison with Hurricane Ian. Charlie Hurricane I center was 5 miles, while Ian is over 40 miles. Hurricane Charlie 2004. Hurricane Ian 2022. If you ever wondered how they install those huge power line towers. Each of those small boxes are coffins. They were placed there as part of a funerary practice by the now extinct Bo people, whom were an ethnic minority of Sichuan and Yunnan in China. Pennywise's house being torn down after the movie was completed in my hometown of Oshawa, Ontario, Canada. A deep look into history. Flamingos evacuated to the bathroom at Sunken Gardens in St. Petersburg, Florida to escape Hurricane Ian. McDonald's now has adorned Happy Meals. Paid $10.79. Aerial photo of Burning Man Festival. That looks like a solar system. The Himalayas from space. A 1970s home stuck in time. Crayfish from the clay lagoon waters of the Great Barrier Reef. This is my eardrum. The white spot is scarring. Hearing loss. A rat once broke inside an Indian ATM. The rat shredded $17,662 worth of Indian rupees and then died. Macho Man Randy Savage was a professional baseball player prior to wrestling. Switzerland's earth homes. Crayfish from the clay lagoon waters of the Great Barrier Reef. Relocating an apartment building to create a boulevard in Romania 1987. The process took 5 hours and 40 minutes without moving the people from their homes. This house has been sitting abandoned for over a decade. An Arctic fox in the process of changing from a summer coat to a winter one. Bioluminescent beaches are one of the coolest natural phenomena on Earth. I used my Astro-modified DSLR to capture the Milky Way behind this tree at Derwentwater, Keswick, Lake District, UK. The only McDonald's with blue arches, Sedona, Arizona. The old Medina of Fez, my city, seen from above. 2 banknotes from Venezuela in circulation, same design, but different and confusing face values. 500,000 versus 10, and the latter one worth 20 times more than the first one. These bees rested, while in trek, on the side of a rhino. Japanese rice field art. Florida town of Babcock Ranch, powered by 700k solar panels, got a direct hit from Hurricane Ian. All power lines and internet are underground. The town never lost power or internet during the storm. One of the 2 flavors of Coca-Cola that can only be found in Canada. The other flavor is Quebec maple. 24 hours ago, Tampa Bay was supposed to be directly hit by Hurricane Ian, but it turned away at the last moment. Local legend says the Tocobaga tribe blessed the land to protect it from invaders. Here's the last 60 years of misses. This map shows hurricanes that have passed with 100 miles of St. Petersburg, Florida since 1960. PLZT goggles are used by crew on B-52 bombers to protect their vision if it ever came to them dropping nuclear weapons. Iconasta Longimanus, or Icon star, has a very peculiar appearance. It's like a star inside a star, and has marginal row of large plates that resemble mosaic tiles. The old snap bracelets we had as kids were just pieces of tape measure wrapped in a plastic cover. Mind blown. Iranian village. Its streets are rooftops. The inside of a cluster bomb. The 40,000-year-old piece of jawbone that was used to sequence DNA of Neanderthals. Professor Svante Pääbo just won the Nobel Prize in Medicine for this work. Bees producing blue honey when collecting sugar from M&Ms. Garter snake mating orgies. Every winter garter snakes go into hibernation, then, in the spring, thousands of them reemerge at the same time, and a making frenzy ensues. I restored, enhanced, and colorized this 163-year-old portrait of a George Custer, 1859. Curious whale sharks of the coast of the Philippines. Sculpture perfection is not dead. Veiled by Veronica Bianchi 2010s. In 2014, thousands of fish were flash frozen in a Norwegian bay due to the extreme cold. Macro shot I took this morning of some dewdrops on a leaf. Zoom in. Before and after of the Fort Myers Beach Pier, Hurricane. The Peel P50, three-wheeled microca made from 1962 to 1965 by the Peel Engineering Company on the Isle of Man. Guinness World Record as the smallest production car ever made. Original model has no reverse gear, but a handle at the rear to be maneuvered physically when required. Volcanic lightning during the eruption of the Calbuco volcano in Chile. A groglyph that appeared in Santa Catarina, Brazil, this morning. A Sonoran mountain king snake following the grooves of a brick wall. Credit, National Park Service. Queen Elizabeth II's Register of Death. Mount St. Helens photographed from the same spot, one day before, and 4 months after erupting. The volcano used to be a symmetrical cone about 9,600 feet above sea level. The eruption on May 18, 1980, removed the upper 1,300 feet of the summit, left a horseshoe-shaped crater and a barren wasteland. Stacked chairs suggests a change in depth that doesn't actually exist. 150-foot coiled siphonophore, seemingly the largest animal ever discovered. Discovered 2020. I took my most detailed photo of Jupiter ever on Tuesday night. You can actually make out surface details on one of Jupiter's moons, if you zoom in. My LEGO Ideas project Sewer Heroes. Fighting the Fatberg is the first ever ideas design paying tribute to water/wastewater professionals, raising awareness of our city's invisible heroes. 8,368 supporters have already voted for it, but it needs 10,000 for a chance of becoming a real LEGO set. Codeformer, robust face restoration and enhancement network. Face restoration. Face color enhancement and restoration. Face in painting. Human forescale. Gerald R. Ford class aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, in a dry dock shortly before launch. The fried eggs worm, which unlike other worms, does not live in the ground, but on top of it. Ursa and Acetaminus are balancing elephants created by Daniel Furman. Part of the exhibition entitled The Circus as a Parallel Universe in 2012 at Kunsthalle Vienna. Australia is completing the sealing, paving, of the Outback Way, linking Queensland to Western Australia. It will be the first east-west sealed road across the central deserts, and only the third sealed road linking Western Australia, a state larger than Alaska and Texas combined, to the rest of the country. What happens if the roots of a tree in a graveyard find a skull inside a casket? This. An Ophthalmus hitleri, the now endangered brown cave beetle named after Adolf Hodler. It has become endangered because of these memorabilia collectors hunting them. This tiny kid's dump truck strapped to the back of a semi-lol. Denver, Colorado. Colossal statue of King Tutankhamun, restored at the Oriental Institute of the University of Chicago, 1935. Korniev's photo of the elephant's foot, 1996. A large mass of corium and other materials formed underneath the Chernobyl nuclear plant during the disaster of 1986. Discovered in December of that year, still extremely radioactive, though the danger has decreased over time from decaying components. Simulated prison, teaching activity at a Hong Kong elementary school to educate students about compliance with the law. It's pretty extreme what severe storms a tent can handle. Small headroom, but it was possible to sleep. The photos were taken by me in the eye of the storm. Took a few pictures of Jupiter with its 4 moons yesterday with my father. Extreme skier Hilary Nelson was given a traditional Sherpa cremation funeral last week after falling to her death from the 8th highest mountain in the world. I went and took a look at the original Pizza Hut. Photos of USS San Francisco, SSN 711, following her collision with an undersea mount. Reporter, Greece's sinking ghost town. A baby alligator riding a turtle. A gorilla foraging on the same tree with a couple of chimps. A recent study suggests that gorillas and chimps in the wild will not only interact, but they form interspecies social bonds. They will seek out individuals they've interacted with before and socialize/forage with them. An airplane flying with a 1938 Everall single-blade auto-variable pitch counterweighted propeller, technically more efficient than multi-bladed props, since it turns through undisturbed air. Size comparison of the US state of North Carolina and Great Britain. The recent SpaceX rocket passing over a lighthouse in Rhode Island at 17,000 miles per hour, just before it leaves the atmosphere. At Noi Bay Airport in Vietnam, there is a Boeing abandoned for 15 years. Its owner, Cambodian airline, went bankrupt while it was parked there, and Cambodian government refused to take it back. This is a garlic flower. Look closely, it has tiny little garlic cloves as seeds. Colossi of Memnon at the Mortuary Temple of Menhotep III, Necropolis of Thebes, Egypt, 1965. The Australian Electoral Commission stops at nothing to ensure everyone has the opportunity to vote. Polling places come to the people by land, sea and air. The Eye of Hurricane Ian, just as it was making landfall. From astronaut Bob Farmer Hines. The melted remnants of a fire at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum in London, 1930. Paradise is just a paddle away, canoeing under the northern lights, Dreher photography in Sandy Bay. Historical election in Brazil brings thousands of people to the streets on Independence Day. There have been no confirmed spider bite deaths in Australia since 1979. One death in 2016 is unclear cause/multiple comorbidities. Swooping magpies have killed 2 people in the last 3 years. Beware. Magpie territory. Swooping magpies reported in this area. Jeffrey Dahmer's glasses on sale for $150,000 by Cult Collectibles. The eagle does not fight the snake on the ground. The Dwarf and the Giant. 15th century armor at the Tower of London Museum. 1895. The hand of Mrs. Wilhelm Röntgen taken by her husband Wilhelm, considered the first medical X-ray. The GAN, named after Afghan cameleers, is the longest passenger train in the world, varying between 775 meters to 1.1 kilometers long depending on seasonal demand. It travels between Adelaide and Darwin. Australia's South-North Transcontinental Railway was only completed through to Darwin in 2004. Makeup application in the days of black and white, very early color movies, and especially horror movies. The Hydrazone Teratopsis dornii, An animal about 4.5 millimeters wide and tall, likely making it smaller than the male on your little dinger, can actually reverse its life cycle. It has been dubbed the immortal jellyfish. Picture taken of downtown Chicago with a fisheye-like lens. My parents' condo complex post-Hurricane Ian, Naples, Florida. These are photos of the BSA airborne bicycle, a bicycle used by British paratroopers during D-Day. It folded 4 parachute jumps and had a weapon mount. The purple frog, Indian purple frog, or pignose frog, is a frog species of the genus Nasicobatrachus. It is endemic to the Western Ghats in India. Satellite shot of Portugal and Western Spain. Men of the 1st Battalion, 188th Airborne Infantry Regiment, watch the detonation of the Buster Dog nuclear device, Nevada Test Site, United States, the 1st of November 1951. Abandoned Pakistan Army Patton tanks in the wheat fields of Mahmudpura, Punjab. The farmers had to wait for the arrival of the Indian Army EME, electrical and mechanical engineers, to move the Pak Army tanks so they could do their work. India-Pakistan War. Highly detailed image of the sun, made of up 25 individual images. The final image contains more than 83 million pixels, making it the highest resolution image of the sun's full disk and outer atmosphere. This is how the Star Wars original trilogy Yoda puppet likes now. Bernard Blanket Manhanna was a homeless man who wandered the inner city streets of Wellington, New Zealand. Hanna was a self-proclaimed devotee of the Maori sun god Tamu Enui Terap and claimed that he should wear as few items of clothing as possible, as an act of religious observance.